Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering. Here we have John on a black-red Reanimator, one of the fastest decks in the format, versus Peter on Elves, a deck that really doesn't have much in the way of early answers. This could be a tough one. Is that a breeding pool into a ponder? Maybe, well, maybe this isn't Peter, and maybe this isn't Elves. I guess we'll see. For sure it's not Elves, just to be clear. Elves does not run Ponder. That is not a card that deck is interested in sleeving up. As good as it is, this might be... I know he had some type of weird control running Zur's Weirding. Just an absolute haymaker of a card that if you're ahead on board, you just win. It's also Shared Fate, a card that he was running in one of his lists that would enable you to play cards off the top of your opponent's library, and they could play cards off of your library, but the deck had basically no win conditions. What on earth are we seeing? We got Cabal Therapy? A couple of therapies, those are immediately recognizable. And a Brainstorm is taken with Thoughtseize, perhaps signaling that there'll be more discard incoming. And now Lotus Petal, Dark Ritual. Do we just have both decks incorrect? No? Alright, well we got an Entomb Exhume getting a Gristlebrand. He'll show up and kindly show us some of what John has going on in his list. He is keeping track of Storm. And that would indicate that he's got some type of Tendrils kill, so maybe this is like a Tin Fins. Just going to go ahead and draw 14. Why not? Might as well. Drawing 14. Definitely even better when you have traded card for card with your opponent. And now Children of Corliss. And that is going to let John regain all of the life he's lost this turn. And just so happen to prime that graveyard with another Children effect very easily incoming based off of another Exhume, anything like that. Bringing back Children the second time will actually allow you to not only gain back 14 life, but you've actually paid 28, so that's more than enough to draw through your entire library. From there, expect to see a Tendrils of Agony based off of what we've seen so far. All the Lotus Petals, and that is enough for Peter, as he is absolutely dead to a... was that a first turn? Yeah, it was Thoughtseize and then Dark Ritual off of a Lotus Petal. So Elves would not have done any better. That is a really fast deck. That is what Black-Red Reanimator is looking to do. I believe this is actually Tin Fins. Black-Red Reanimator typically has Chancellor of the Annex at this point, Faithless Lootings, and just more monsters to bring back from the graveyard. This looks like it's going to be pretty focused on doing exactly what we just saw, which is comboing out as quickly as possible. Alright, Peter leading off with a Bayou. While that may look like Elves, he no longer has us fooled. As we did see a Ponder game 1, we'll see if we can see more out of his deck in this game. John with a Lotus Petal, threatening to have a similar game to the last one, in which he just stripped Peter's hand and then proceeded to kill him on the first turn. That would be one of the faster things we've ever seen. Oh, and he's got Faithless Looting. So this is a bit of a black-red Reanimator. Reanimator can manage to fit in the Children of Corliss. That is a thing that people do sometimes. Classifications for decks can get interesting. Boy, do we have a body? I don't think so. It's a swamp. Into a Dark Ritual Entomb. And looking for Sire of Insanity. Sire of Insanity, the end of each player's turn, they discard their hands. And here's an Exhume. Extirpate. Wow. All right. So Gristlebrand and Animate Dead left in hand. What an interesting choice. So does that mean that he has Gristlebrand in the graveyard? How does he have a Gristlebrand in his hand with that Faithless looting? That Gristlebrand could be in the graveyard. He had discarded a swamp prior. Exhume would bring back any creature. Oh, wow. Well, I can't... Yeah, going at double speed, I can't think of a single way where that works out. I mean, when you've got Exhume in hand, you want to get both bodies into the graveyard in case they have a Surgical, because you'll just get whichever one they don't Surgical. In that particular instance, it was Extirpate. But the more common line is, without a doubt, the Surgical Extraction. I suppose you're playing around Fairy Macabre, but I don't know how much of a likelihood you have of winning the game when you're moving all in. You know what I mean? Like so what? You have a Gristlebrand in hand. I guess you're hoping to draw like a Faithless Looting and draw a discard. Or you have the Faithless Looting in the graveyard, so you're hoping to draw more mana to flash it back. I don't know. Seems like you're not playing around very much. But that is something to remember, though. Exhume, very happy to have multiple bodies in the graveyard when you're facing down things like Surgical Extraction. Does that pinpoint removal. What is it? Cling to Dust? Is that the other one? It's a solid new card. Cabal Therapy, flashing back. The Birds of Paradise. He knows that there's a Gristlebrand. Oh, and he nails the Reanimate. And I believe this is a new Zendikar Rising card. You can let me know what that is in the comments. Like a Seagate something. Not actually sure what it is. Looks like it's going to duplicate this effect. Ah, Peter, you're making me look bad here. I do not know what those cards did. We're going to have to try and Sherlock this together based off of what he gets out of his deck. Rifling through and making some decisions here. Just an Unmask and a Gristlebrand on the other side. Lothus? Something like that? It's the red-green god. Occasionally sees play in some of the Delver builds. And we get a couple of creatures onto the battlefield. The other one I can't quite make out because of the glare. Kind of looks like a Ramunap Excavator. Cabal Therapy grabs that Unmask. John is in pretty bad shape. This new series of gods from Theros Beyond Death definitely kind of reinvigorated interest in the God cycle. There was also a secret lair that helped out with that, I suppose. But there's a lot of them in Magic now. We got our version of the Norse gods now with Kaldheim, the tiny bit of Egyptian stuff with Amonkhet. I feel like out of those, they didn't really delve too deep in. They ended up killing off those gods, bringing them back as zombies. And Faithless Looting here is going to leave one card in hand. Bristlebrand can go to the bin, along with the Badlands. And the last one's a Reanimate. That is some filthy stuff right there. Oh no. Just brutal. Gristlebrand has arrived, and things are going to go sideways. I don't think he's taken any damage. Yeah, this is going to be like 14 unapologetic cards going to his hand. You know, if you can't get there drawing 14 cards to your opponent's 0, you're probably not meant to win that game. Hasn't played a land yet. Oh no! Oh, he reanimated. He doesn't have the life to pay. What a disaster. John actually scooping it up. Yeah, that's funny. I didn't catch that at double speed. Reanimate's not as strong as Exhume, that's for sure, in this type of deck. I don't think that's a game loss anymore, especially with the way those cards went. I feel like now those cards would how would it work now? So they left the zone, they went to the hand. I believe the way the rules are currently worded is Peter would actually just take a look and choose 7 of those cards to shuffle back into the library, which, would probably leave John in not the best state. He wasn't able to win after the first 7, hence drawing the additional 7. But he's got the play this time. And we haven't seen Chancellor of the Annex yet. Oh, wow. Just on cue. Chancellor of the Annex, one of the key cards for Black-Red Reanimator, really slowing down opposing control decks. And we've got an Entomb. And that's actually what you want to fight over most of the time when you're playing against Reanimator shells like this. A lot of the time, if you can keep the creature out of the graveyard, it's much easier to do that than it is to fight over the Exhumes and Reanimates and Animate Deads. That is often preferable. And we got to Reanimate. Oh, Peter scooping it up. He had a Reanimate of his own. Was hoping to snag an opposing body, but no such luck. Chancellor would have made that very difficult. And John goes on to take that last game down in record speed. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.